and most of these legislative attacks are centered on LGBTQ+ youth, especially youth of color and trans youth. Nationwide, lawmakers are attempting to deny queer youth health care, attacking their ability to participate in their communities, and denying them their fundamental rights to see themselves represented and to be affirmed for who they are. And this isn't something that's just happening in Florida or Texas or Idaho. Our communities are still under threat in Washington and in Seattle. It is incredibly important that we do not become complacent as a community and as a city. I spent the last few years leading youth groups and serving as a mentor to LGBTQ+ young people in Seattle. And I can tell you firsthand that we are not immune to the nationwide issues that the queer community faces. I regularly work with young people who are homeless, who can't access life-saving healthcare, and who endure systemic violence, and who struggle with behavioral health issues that they can't find treatment for. And as a young person myself, I see this play out in my community. As an LGBTQ community and as a city, we have a responsibility to uplift and to protect our youth. The LGBTQ Commission applauds the city on its work this last year for making our city safer and more accessible for the LGBTQ community, especially with its work in partnership with King County's Health Through Housing program, which works to make housing more accessible to the LGBTQ community members who need it most. But we still call for further action to protect our community and our youth. We call on the city to invest in more affordable, high quality and safe housing, and to invest in community-focused solutions to address public safety in ways that actually keep our communities safe. This means partnering with community organizations, supporting basic needs funding for things like food banks and behavioral health support. It also means not criminalizing homelessness. It does not mean sweeping houseless communities without providing them adequate housing resources. We urge the city to focus on restorative, non-punitive solutions to the behavioral health care crisis. And we ask the city to consistently and proactively partner with the LGBTQ+ Commission, which would demonstrate real commitment to the LGBTQ+ community. Seattle has a responsibility to uplift and take care of its LGBTQ community, especially its youth. Thank you.
You are all feeling safe, healthy, loved, and supported. While we're celebrating Pride Month, we know there's still more work to do. As we've grown, so has our culture. A lot of changes. A lot has changed, and transitions have been difficult, and we faced a lot of them these past years with uncertainty. So Pride Month holds so many different things for many of us. While it's a celebration for most, and it should, right? But it's also a crucial time for remembering where we come from and all we have fought for. And it's also about coming together to honor, to celebrate, and support our two-spirit LGBTQIA+ community. I know and I recognize how difficult it has been for many of us during the pandemic, especially our queer and trans youth. The pandemic has altered our access to our loved ones, access to our chosen family, hosting our favorite events, our interests. The reality is that many of us had to hide our identities or suppress parts of ourselves for our own safety. Many have had parts of our identity invalidated or not celebrated, which contributed to issues like mental health. And this, on top of everything else, have caused emotional and familial problems, not to mention that it probably stressed you out in new and terrifying ways. Our trans youth lives have been disrupted in ways that most adults cannot understand, and for some leading to an increase in anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. There is a lack of celebration for our trans youth, a lack of affirmation, visibility, and validation. Friends, please do not underestimate the power of visibility. There are still places in this country where we are being legislated out of existence. There are places where you can't say gay, which is really saying that it is not okay for us to be. To our trans youth, we love you. Despite every obstacle, you did the best you could. Even when you felt like you weren't, even when you were struggling to focus or remain motivated. I know being resilient can be exhausting, and I hope that you all found support when you needed it. And to everyone here, we will live loudly so that every trans, every queer youth, every LGBTQ member will know that there is a life ahead. These institutions of oppression may be able to deny the storm, but they cannot silence the wind. They will build walls and put us in cages, but we will tear them down. We are the future generations. Our trans babies are the future. Our queer babies need us. They will need your support. They will need you at every march, every protest, every event, every fight. But more than all of that, they need to see you. They need to see us living loudly. They need to see us thriving because it matters. Seeing you is a clear indicator to them that there is life beyond their current circumstances. They need to see us thrive. 365 days, not just in June, at Pride Month events, our queer and trans babies need to see us live. And so many LGBTQ family, be visible, be loud, be exactly who you are and all of who you are, because you are beautiful and it saves lives. Happy Pride, everyone. Please welcome my friend and colleague, Executive Director, Stephen Sawyer of POCAN.
The Office of Civil Rights, as well as to the Seattle LGBT Commission for this invitation. The Pride movement has been a long-standing fight for equity and justice for the LGBTQAI2 Spirited Plus community. In the streets of New York on a late summer night in 1969, the first brick was thrown that launched the Stonewall Uprising, an uprising that marked a new turning point in the LGBTQ activism and liberation in the United States. But few recognize that the Black LGBT community also has been a part and been at the forefront of this Pride movement throughout history, including Stonewall leaders like Stoney Lavalier, Marsha P. Johnson, Bernard Rustin, Gary Bonner, Alvin Ailey, James Baldwin, all challenged societal norms and inspired generations that followed to speak truth to power in our community. Their contributions have often been erased and downplayed in the mainstream narrative, but it's important for us to acknowledge their bravery and their resilience, standing up against police brutality and discrimination. And despite the disadvantages that they've had, we've seen the crucial fight advance in these few years past. In the intersections of race, gender, and sexuality has been made great movements and improvements. But the reality of it is, there are still so many that are still plagued with injustice across the country. It's movements like the Black Lives Matter and Black Pride that have really come together to fight hate, and many of these hate bills that have been created that create more dangerous environments for our community. We see how these strides toward equity have not been shared by all of our members of the LGBT community. And today there is a rise in anti-LGBT bills, for non-binary bathroom laws to anti-drag bills. Racial disparities persist, with Black and brown LGBT individuals too often facing additional layers of discrimination and marginalization. As such, the new fight for equity in the LGBT movement must center on the comprehensive understanding of intersectionality. This means recognizing how different aspects of identity overlap and impact individuals' experience of oppression. It also means that acknowledging the ways in which white supremacy and anti-Blackness and the patriarchy have persisted in discrimination against LGBT people, particularly for those who are Black and brown and trans. Pride must be a celebration and a demonstration. We must celebrate with the events like today's flag raising and the upcoming Pride Parade, but we must continue to demonstrate and to unveil the need for a greater equity and equality in areas such as employment, housing, healthcare, education. Until we are all safe, no one is safe. Until we are all free to be our true selves, no one is free. As we continue to push forward toward progress in this fight for LGBT rights, it's critical that we center and uplift the voices from all communities, but especially for those who have historically been silenced. Thank you.
It is an act. It is something that we must do. It is not passive. When I think about Pride Month, what is the point of Pride Month? It is living your true selves, your authentic self, living out loud. It is being forward with who you are in all of your glory and your full identity. In this year, 2023, we're going to stop giving out cookies. Allies no longer get cookies just for saying they stand with us. This is the year where demonstration and actions are what is important. This is the year where it is no longer acceptable to sit on the sidelines. We've had a couple years where we've been knocked down. We've dusted ourselves off, and now is the time for action. Love is a verb. If we love ourselves, if we love our community, this is where we take action. So on this June 1st, this is not the moment where we raise the flag and we let the symbol fly. It is what are we going to do to put that love, that authenticity into action? How are we going to not just say to our youth, we love you, we support you, but what are we going to do to put boots on the ground to show them that they are worthy, that they have place? To show our elders they are worthy, they have place. To show that grace and demonstration to each other that we are worthy and that we have place. This is our time for action. We spend so much time being small for a world that won't accept us how we are. This month is where we get to be our authentic selves. Be who you are, love who you love. Support and value those around you. We are human. Embrace all that humanity has to offer. So thank you for joining us here on this day, June 1st, the kickoff. And that's all right, because if you work hard, you gotta play hard. But now is the time that we put in that work together. We cannot let them divide us. It is only through our togetherness and our strength that we will be successful and that we will take back what is ours, which is our full, authentic selves. Thank you so much. I want everybody to have an opportunity to crank this flag. So I'm going to take the first crank, but then let's line up and do it together. Thank you. There. Happy. You better get in there. Oh, is she? Where is she?
Back there. Way back there. See her back there? Herbold! We want Herbold!
We're called. I will come. I will come.
All right. Come on in. Don't be shy.
All right.
All right, let's go, let's go.
All right, Audra, boo.
Israel. All right.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Yeah, come on, I'm a volunteer people.
Yes.
Jeff, Carlos. Come on now. Come on, sis. Come on, sis.
I ain't ever seen you shy. Come on over here.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
Bring us home. Let's do it.
Bring us on. We're almost there. Go ahead. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. There it is. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Happy Pride, Seattle.